Hello Virgo, and welcome to your monthly forecast. This is for the month of August. It's always great to see you. Before we get started, just a couple of quick notes. You can always use this for sun, rising, and moon. Let's get straight into your channeled messages. The first thing that came through when I was meditating on your sign was the picture of someone flipping a coin. And you could either ascribe this to the Ace of Pentacles or the Two of Pentacles, but I was really paying attention to the two sides, and I kept seeing the number 2. So we're going to go with the Two of Pentacles on this. The first and the most powerful thing that came forth for you was don't leave things to chance. A lot of times we just wait passively and hope that someone gets a hint, that someone is going to pick up the phone or send an email or make something happen. But the truth of it this month, especially for you, is that it's far more powerful to be in the driver's seat than the passenger seat. And whenever and wherever you can speak up or set the tone or create that trajectory, this is the time to do it. It really puts you in a seat of power as well. There's two sides to every story, to every opportunity, and this is really about making sure that you're going beyond the surface, and when it comes to hearing something, maybe secondhand, that you're getting both sides. It's also encouraging you to be mindful of expenditures. So because I'm really looking at a Two of Pentacles message here, it's about balancing things out, choices. And there's more discernment that's necessary in the Two of Pentacles than, say, like the Six of Pentacles. So this is really encouraging you to release anything that isn't somehow helping, informing, supporting you, bringing you into a place of growth and abundance. If there's something in your life that's tapping at your energies, that you keep kind of connecting to for maybe just because you always have, now is the time to really reassess that and think, is this serving a higher purpose, or is it time to move in a new direction? When it comes to any purchases or spending, obviously this is about being frugal. And I mentioned here, there's a difference between being mindful of that budget and fearful of it. Just knowing what you have and what you can spend, that is fine. That's just informed decision making. And think to yourself now, where are the opportunities for me to grow or create more? So we're going towards information and informed decision making, not fear. I definitely wanted to put a sort of like highlight on that. And the most important piece, and I think this is the thing that sometimes culturally or environmentally it's shunned, but like we don't always talk about money. When it comes to, for students out there, one of the best things you can do is talk to people in the industry and say, what should I expect from a salary perspective? How do I negotiate? These things aren't always taught in school. Some programs kind of like help give students that tool, but I know I wasn't given that when I went to school. And then when we're looking at families too, I think really, strong families are not afraid to bring up how to spend, how to save, just basically giving children the tools that they need to be smart consumers and also just really good with their money. But if you didn't get that sort of training from your parents, find an advisor out there, do some research, read some books, and ask questions. And if this is also good if you're getting started on something new, really get to understand the budget, what you're getting for your money. And if it's time to negotiate a salary, talk about the money. It's important. All right, let's go on. And I put invest wisely here because it's your time, your energy, and your money. So across the board, really thinking, is it worth it? The next thing that I saw in meditation was a chain that was breaking. You can actually see the chain right there between the two partners there. This is kind of like a very different version of the lovers, where instead of being in the Garden of Eden and sort of just being in this bright, resplendent card, they are chained together by something that neither of them wants. And so this is really about unshackling or releasing the chain. So if there's someone in your life that just doesn't want to do something, but they feel the sort of obligation to stick around, you can release them. If there's someone that you love and they love you, but they need some time and space to travel or explore or do something, unconditionally love them, let them be. This is especially true for parents, grandparents, when there's children or grandchildren that need to kind of like just explore the world, express themselves, give them the space to do so. Now, the other thing here is loving yourself unconditionally. That's usually the hardest piece because sometimes we can be so critical and comparing ourselves to others. Love, support, and embrace the person that you are, the body that you have. It's gotten you this far in life, and it's going to bring you to the finish line. So cherish it, love it, support it. If there's someone in your life that can't give you what you want, that's the devil energy too. This could be in a relationship, someone that just doesn't want to commit. This can be, again, we were talking about work situations, someone who doesn't give you what you're worth. Whatever it is where you're not receiving what you're putting in, there's a lack of reciprocity, a lack of respect, maybe even a lack of honesty. It's time to release that. Don't accept less than your worth. Your sort of like, we're not just talking about your money, we're talking about like self-respect. And if someone just isn't being the support that you need in your life, it's okay and possibly even advantageous to move in a new direction. And this is creating space for something more on the level that you are, the work that you've been doing. Create space for someone who's done the same work in their life as well. Okay, so we see an opportunity for more abundance to come in, but I think one of the things here, these two cards play together, is cutting out anything that isn't representative of your worth or somehow makes you even feel less than. We want to go to the greater than sort of energy to kind of bring in more love, more abundance, more opportunity. Let's give the cards a shuffle and we'll see where there are chances for you to make smarter choices, where opportunity might be knocking. And if we see the devil energy coming through at any point, I'll make sure to identify that as well. All right, let me turn the camera down and let's give the cards a shuffle. All right, take a moment if you will, close your eyes, clear any sort of existing thoughts that you might have brought into this reading. Just allow your mind to be open and we'll call in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters. All right, let's see what's in store for you. A little bit of a synchronicity here as I'm looking at the devil in hopes, fears, and opportunities. If we're going to get it somewhere, that's a good place because it's avoidable. And that is something that we want to do for sure. Justice reverse, encouragement there to speak up, to say no. All right, let me hold off on any other commentary until I've finished pulling all the cards. All right, let's get started with your catalyst card. You received the toad. The card was upside down, so we'll talk about that first. Then let's break down the symbolism of the toad. So in the upright position, it's going to take a leap forward. In the reverse position, it's about really making sure that you're not spending too much time in the energy of regret. I could have, I should have, I would have. Learn from the past, be informed from your experiences, use them to make better decisions moving forward. And that's the big takeaway with the reversal. Now, this is a very cool symbol because it goes through a metamorphosis. It's not exactly the same as what we see with like a butterfly, but it does transform. It goes from an egg form to living in the water as a tadpole and eventually kind of morphing into what we see here. So this month is going to be marked by periods of change, and you may sometimes feel like you're out of your comfort zone, trying to adjust to something new. This particular animal can exist in two different environments, in the water and on land. So you can thrive, you can adjust. It just may take a little bit of time to get your bearings. Again, remembering to focus on what's possible, what's available, what's on the horizon, rather than solely looking into the past. Okay, those are the main messages here. Also, a little bit of Fool energy because you could be taking a leap of faith, okay? Now, I quite like the spread here, especially with the star energy here. We see a transformation coming through, and it's in the recent past. We see the ability to avoid the devil energy, and then a chance to create balance. Part of this is simply by saying no, so let's get into this. We're going to start off with one of the best cards in the major arcana. It's the Sun. The reason this card is so powerful is just take a moment to think about how it functions in our solar system. The Sun is the glue, it's the magnet, it keeps everything in order. It's basically like a conductor at the center of our solar system. So don't be surprised this month if there are opportunities, expectations, situations where people naturally gravitate around you or towards you and ask you, what do you think? How do we fix this? You're basically being set up for success. Now, the other thing with this is it's a card of newness and birthing. So the traditional illustration has a little tiny baby on that horse, and then we have this bright energy coming through. So it indicates that in this moment in time, it's a chance to, like I said when we were looking at the frog, turn your attention towards the horizon, towards the future, to create, release, birth, experience new things. Break up the old routine. Don't go back and repeat something from the past, whether it is, an old relationship or an old experience. Someone who you're like, I've seen this, I've done that, I know how this is going to end. No, this is a chance to really shake it up, okay? And again, it is the ultimate power card, and it's right at the center of your spread. So if you don't like something, you absolutely have the capacity, energetically at least, to bring something new in. And then we see in the center of this sort of reimagined illustration, a sort of yellow brick road, something beautiful, something worth the journey, okay? So keep working on new things, and again, it's a great time to create or experience something that you haven't previously. All right, crossing the Sun, we have Temperance. Temperance, in this particular illustration, is focusing more on creating balance than not sort of going to extremes. So they made a choice in the illustration. Let me show the traditional Temperance angel just for comparison. So normally we have an angel, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. We see that there is that path, which was also a part of this Sun card here. And before you take the next step, it's really about tuning in. And that's what this is. There can also be someone in your life that can kind of help and serve as that energy of temperance, an advisor, a teacher, your love interest, whoever it is that you trust and kind of want to lean on, this is the time to do so. And maybe for some of you, you're starting to prioritize the core relationships in your life a little bit more. There could have been a point where you were working or traveling a lot, and now you have the time, you have the space to put a little bit more there. And this could help you kind of find the support that you need to thrive in this next part of your life. But of course, we can take it at dictionary value too. And it's just saying you don't need to go in any one direction too far, too fast. One step at a time, one breath at a time. Don't overdo it, okay? And take everything with a grain of salt too. Temperance is not going to get overly stressed, bothered, worried, etc. It's just going to analyze, soak it in, and that's the best piece of advice I can give you on that. Now, as we're looking at the deep past, it's the second star. So the Sun is just a word we use to describe the star at the center of our solar system. Now we have the Sun. If you're looking for love, 2 stars, twin stars, it's like twin flames. It's deep energy here. This is the kind of relationship you'd want. You're reaching for it, it's coming through. Wish on that shooting star, and guess what? It's right here, okay? So one of the things that we can look at besides relationship and wish fulfillment is being yourself. This is the definition of authenticity. So in this moment in time, it's really important for you to be yourself. In the traditional illustration, we have basically a divine figure that doesn't have any clothes. You're going to see this in a few of the cards, including the World. And typically this is because it's a moment to just be. There's also this same sort of birthing energy here. So in tarot, there's a purpose to the clothing or the lack thereof, just like you would see in Roman or Greek statues. Divinity is depicted as just being free of all of those sort of artifices. Same thing with the Lover's card. So all of that is because when you see any of those core cards without clothing, it's saying you're at a point now where you've earned the right to be yourself. And that's the big takeaway. If I just have to give you what you need to know, we'll look at these three again and then we'll move on to the next. So this is a moment to try new things, to birth, to create. Don't get overly concerned about what others think. Focus on core relationships in your life. One of those may be someone who sees you or helps you achieve that high sort of bright light here that we see. And it's birds of a feather. Like attracts like. So you may be lucky enough to either be in the sort of like, not the existence, but the presence of that star energy. But it all begins with you emanating and believing it yourself. Like attracts like. You're going to call in better partners, better friends, better opportunities, and never let go of your dream or wish. Keep on keeping on. Reach higher. And if anybody tells you to reach lower, that is that is this energy coming through. They want to tether you. And remember what I talked about with the chain. We're going to move beyond those tethering sort of people. Let's move on to recent past here. We have the Death card in reverse. This is an encouragement, just like I was talking about with the Sun card, to let go of things that aren't moving, that aren't going anywhere. So if you've consistently tried to make something happen, getting someone's attention, trying to make a connection, maybe a professional connection, a job opportunity, a friendship, you're putting in the effort, more than enough effort, but nothing's happening, let it go. So just like this was a time for creating and birthing, it's also a time for releasing. And it's a time to release things that are not returning on the energetic investment. It also reminds you that one end is another beginning. So here we have this sort of angelic death figure here, but right inside is creation. So destruction and creation, ends and beginnings, they are the two sides of the coin. I'm just getting that now as we're going into this. So sometimes we focus on the lack of progress here rather than someone that's knocking over there, or the end here instead of the beginning over there. So the universe is trying to get you to turn your attention. There is a perspective shifting card actually in Hope, Spheres, and Opportunity, and it's the Five of Cups. And this is typically a card of mourning. We can see the person mourning a little bit. And this is letting go of that, because that is the only thing that could be holding you back from going to the next level. You also have another card here. I was talking about the universe trying to get your attention moved. Let me see if I have this card handy here. I do. So in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, here's the Four of Cups. This person is so focused on this sort of diagonal energy down here that they're missing that sort of hidden ace in the corner. And we have the same thing going on here. There's a cup literally in front of this person, and they're either not interested or they're focusing on what has been, something beyond what's kind of like available to them. So this is really encouraging you to follow the energy. So if you're not getting the connection somewhere, there's a hidden opportunity and it's closer than you think. One last note before we move on, the Death card is also a reminder to pay attention to things. So anytime this comes through in dreams, meditation, cards, etc., it's the universe saying, it's a wake-up call, basically. Something isn't serving your highest good when it's reversed, and this is your chance to improve the situation. So if it's environment, let's say it's a relationship or a workspace and it's toxic, or it doesn't sort of give you the energy that you need to feel supported and balanced, again, it's time to move in a new direction. It's a brush with death. It's in the recent past. It's not where you're headed. So whatever this dead end is, whatever this wake-up call is, wherever you're feeling a sense of being stuck, it's more here than what's actually coming through in the future, okay? So we're going to get it out of our headspace, and your mantra is, you can release something if it's been causing trouble. You could just say, I release this. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the experience. I'm ready to receive more. But you can also simply say, I'm unstuck. I'm ready to receive love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest forms. Not just ready, but ready, willing, and worthy. All of those things are really key. In the crowning position, Four of Cups. Don't compare yourself to other people. That's one thing here. Sometimes we look at someone else's accomplishments and it just frustrates us, right? Or you're looking at only what's here versus what's attainable. I would love you to keep reaching for something bigger, something better. But if you're trying it in this direction and it's not working, try it in that direction. If you've been talking to this person, talk to someone else. The old channels they're meant to be closed, many of these. These doors are supposed to close so you can open new ones. So wherever you are feeling frustrated, it could be for a reason, and it's really just the universe trying to push your head a little to the left, a little to the right, so you can see something that is ready, that is ripe for the picking, okay? I mentioned in the channeled messages, I saw the two sides of the coins. We were focusing more on the Two of Pentacles. It feels like if you pay attention to what we were talking about there, things start to pick up. This is a good resource card. The Six of Pentacles represents the base or the basis for progress and abundance. It's more than enough. The scales are tipped in your sort of favor here. The key to success with the Six of Pentacles is decisions and discernment, and basically saying, I'm going to do a little bit of that, a little bit of that, that's not worth it, and I need to save something for me. So you are not going to be in a sort of scarcity mentality. You're more in a place where you think, I need to save a little of this so I can invest more in that. It's just strategy, basically, and again, finding balance and seeking out equity and reciprocity. We don't see it so much in this particular illustration, but trust me, there's usually scales in the Six of Pentacles. So finding that balance, once again, just like we saw here, because this is really a balancing card too. So you're going to balance out your feelings, your relationships. You're also going to be balancing out your resources. You're finding the perfect balance this month. By the end of it, you should be in a place where things are starting to look and feel a lot more stable, a lot more balanced. With Six of Pentacles, I like to remind folks, you can't get it all when you want it, but you can usually get everything you want. The timelines are usually stretched a little bit with the Six of Pentacles. You have to make a choice. If you want everything, it may take longer because you either need more resources, more time, or you need to look at scope and reduce scope if you want it faster. If you want the same scope, time is usually stretched a bit. So just be realistic, and that will help you out, and you can still get what you want. Okay, you're coming through really nice. King of Pentacles, I like it. This is basically the ability to, it's kind of like a green thumb. Anything that you touch can grow, but the energy is more inward facing. So in the upward position here, we see someone who has the Midas touch, who has the ability to make things really go in their direction that they want them to. But right now, it feels like many of you want to focus on personal development. You may also need to drive a harder bargain. And the only thing that might be causing things to not move, people to say no, or you to not want to go down a certain path is someone doesn't want to give you your worth. And you're really, and I encourage this too, but you're saying, no, that's not enough. And so some people aren't ready to go to the next level, and that's where you're going to find someone that is, or find somewhere where that is recognized. So this can be, when reversed, someone saying, I need more of this, or this isn't enough, this isn't what we talked about. So you're finding your voice and you're using it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But what it might mean for some of you is just saying enough or no to something, okay? Or someone else is going to say that because suddenly you just have a clearer view of who you are, what you want, and what you're worth, and that's never a bad thing. Now, there are a couple of cautionary notes with the King of Pentacles in reverse. This is usually a card of excess when reversed. It's someone that, is thinking, well, I just deserve a little treat. So maybe, overindulging when it goes, like if you're going to a party or something, eating too much, drinking too much, partying too much. Everything in moderation. There are times when you can kind of just have fun and let loose, but it can't be the whole month. It can't be every week. So this is just basically saying splurge occasionally, but not all the time. And temperance is coming through to help you find the balance there for sure. Okay. Moving on in the environment, we have revelation. This is going to help you see what's going on here. So the Eight of Swords in reverse is basically an unveiling. The blindfolds are coming off, the earplugs are coming out. You can hear, you can see, all three eyes are open and aware and awake. Now, Eight of Swords is sometimes the prison of thought. We can think ourselves into a corner or paint ourselves into a corner. and you are taking the key to your own prison of thought, and you're thinking, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. That doesn't serve me. That doesn't feel right. I want something else. So I just see liberation coming through, and it's here and here. You feel that it's time for something else. You allow yourself to see through the mirage or the illusion, and lo and behold, there'll be a new path that reveals itself. You can't ignore things. Whether it's the Eight of Swords or the Two of Swords, when the blindfolds are off, it's there and it's not going anywhere. So if something needs to be said, if someone needs to be dealt with, if there's a discrepancy in a document, it's basically a call to action. So whatever it is that now has been revealed, embrace it and decide what you want to do with it. For some of you, you are looking at something and you're circling it and saying, wait a second, this is a flag, this is a red flag, I can't ignore it. And the devil in a contract obviously is one-sided. So it is someone that wants to take more of something that you deserve than you should be giving up. So intellectual property, more of your time, more of your energy. Maybe there's like a non-competition clause or something like that. Whatever it is, you not only should, but can say no. So you can and you should push back on that. And then the other thing is, the prison of thought that was the Eight of Swords was feeding the energy of the devil. And when you suddenly think, I can actually do this, I will go down this path, and I don't need to stay here, the devil is starved and goes in another direction. And now you can finally see the two cups, the opportunity. I keep seeing partnership here with all of these cups. So there's a chance for love or opportunity, because you have the floating ace in the Four of Cups. We sometimes put all our attention on the three that are in front, and then on this one it's usually the three that are now spilled. So something came to pass, but you have even more. You're going to end up in a better place in the long run. But the mourning or the release has to happen, and that is the big takeaway in the Five of Cups. All right, let's look at your outcome, and then we'll expand this forecast. Justice. It's just about saying no when we're looking at it in the reverse state. Her eyes are wide open, and I think, did they put the scales in the center? This is really clever. So there are the scales of justice right there. I was going to say, you got to put the scales somewhere. So you have three cards that came through with balance. You have the Six of Pentacles, where he's holding the scales. You have Temperance, where it's about an emotional balance. I intuited the Two of Pentacles, and now you got this. So almost every single balance card that could come through is there. So you're going to see it before it happens. This is really about not giving up on your vision. So this is what you know is possible. You're going to hold true to your vision, and if someone else can't see it, you're going to find someone who can, and it's okay to say no. Both of these cards are one of discernment, and in the reverse state, by the way, Six of Pentacles and Justice card reversed are about saying no and saying no more often. It's hard. It's especially for those of you in a position of support. Parents, advisors, teachers, nurses, psychiatrists, everybody out there that helps other people. It's hard to not give, but this is a time where you really have to make sure that you're taking care of you. And that's why we have this paternal energy inward focused. So do what you need to ground, to support, to love yourself, and to expect and ask a little bit more of others, okay? Let's expand the forecast to look at the energy of health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with the energy of your health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Let's take a look here at the Oracle card. We have Traveler, move in a new direction. This is so nicely aligned with what we were talking about with the Sun card, the Star card, and what might be holding you back if we're looking at Death reversed or the Devil. It's basically saying, let it go and explore something new. Oftentimes, moving in a new direction, or even just changing up the environment, can be exactly what you need to set yourself on a new trajectory. For those of you that just moved, that just started a new job, that just got into a new relationship, this is basically a green light from the universe saying, yes, more of this, please, okay? So you may also need to do a little bit more traveling for whatever reason, work, or maybe, again, part of your personal development involves, spending some time in a different city, state, country, or province. We just see changes of environment being very, very beneficial. And if you have felt stagnation anywhere, this is about basically taking out that compass rose and saying, how about this direction? Let's align to something different, something new, something better. All right, let's go ahead and see what else is coming through in this spread as far as just general health and well-being. So again, I mentioned a bunch of balance cards. We see 3 of them here: Temperance, 6 of Pentacles, Justice, all of them showing some form of balance or measuring. So you really want to look at your schedule, your priorities, what's going on, and just make sure that that balance exists. When we're looking at general sort of nutrition, this is interesting because this can be an overabundance or maybe even a deficiency somewhere with it reversed. Making sure that there is ample sort of protein, carbohydrates, not too much sugar, not too much salt, really finding that perfect balance. And that's something you can really only accomplish by working with a health professional, but making sure that if something doesn't sort of feel right elsewhere in your body, you make sure that this part, the nutrition piece, is in order. You might have had a wake-up call. Death reversed is a wake-up call. Something kind of got close to getting out of control, but you found a way to bring it back. And it's important to continue to have positive attitude, to make smart choices, and to say no to any sort of temptation. Literally, Justice reverse is right on top of temptation itself, the Devil card. And not ignore signs and signals in your body, or more specifically in the environment. So the red flag for some of you is someone or something in the environment, and it's sort of like, I got to fix that, I got to deal with that. And by doing that, you'll find your sort of grounding, and you can get back into this ascending energy that you've worked really hard, by the way, to deserve. We'll look more at that when we go to wealth, but this is where you should be headed. A lot of this stuff here is just some distraction. We're going to get you back on that course of ascending to the star, right? Let's see if there's anything else here. Hearing and seeing. Whenever 8 of Swords is reversed, it's about paying special attention to anything that's going on in the eyes or ears, and it can be vision or hearing or around that. So I mentioned when I was needing to move out of my apartment, one of the signals was my sinuses got so plugged up that I couldn't hear. I also felt a pain behind the ears, and it could have been either a lymph node or just the pressure in the eardrums. So I immediately went to an ENT, and I didn't get what I needed from one, so I immediately went to another, and we found the right combination of things to clear it up. So it can just be some sort of disruption around those organs because the blindfold goes around this whole center. It can also be even kind of mental fogginess, which can be either dietary, allergy related, or even a chemical imbalance. So anything going on really in the head space, but specifically ears, eyes, and the brain. Those are very specific organs to focus on and take care of immediately. Like, drop everything and go to the doctor if something doesn't feel right there. But more symbolically, 8 of Swords is not ignoring a little ache or pain or something in the environment, because it may be more significant than you think. Okay? And we'll look at this a little bit more when I'll talk about it now, because it could actually just be like preventative maintenance. So in my situation in the old place, like, I had a manager that didn't fix things until they were extremely broken. And I'm sure we've all had bosses or people in our lives that just they're not proactive. They're not looking at preventative stuff. They're reactive. And that makes for messy cleanup. So if your car is making a weird sound, take it to the mechanic. If your body feels weird, go to the doctor. If something's not working or looking right in your apartment, get someone in there ASAP to fix it. All of those things will help you avoid a bigger issue down the line, okay? See if there's anything else here that we need to talk about. Oh, just for some of you, you're finally getting to that point where you're ready to let go of an addiction or a tendency in your life that just is kind of holding you back. So maybe like quitting drinking or smoking or overworking or overeating or whatever it is that your own sort of personal vice is, you're ready to let that go. And these two have to go together. You have to be the one that initiates the no and brings balance in your life. And then once that happens, you can work with the support of others to really make sure. When you decide to end something this month, you'll really end it, because with death, the devil and justice, these are major arcana cards, it will end. So if you feel it, if you see it, if you kind of speak it into existence, all of that is going to align, and you can really create necessary balance, okay? Let's move on. That was a beautiful sort of combination of messages. And again, don't be afraid to take a trip, to travel, to change up the environment as well. The Traveler card is encouraging you on all those fronts. Let's move on to wealth, resources, life purpose, career, and see what's going on here. In the Oracle card for wealth, we have power, and the power card is reversed. I mentioned you are the source. Literally, this is the strongest card you can get in the major arcana because it is the source of everything, right? So someone around you wants you to believe this, but you know this. So they're trying to get you to sort of like give power to them or release or mute your light a little bit, and you're just going to shine all the brighter, and you're going to show them, you're going to lead by example. That's the way to overcome that. So reclamation and recognition of your power. In a job interview, this is someone that could be trying to level you lower than you should be. In a relationship, it's someone that makes you feel less than. In life in general, it's someone that wants you to give more but not get anything in return. So all of these things, you're saying, I don't think so. And you're going to feel free to say no. That is why Justice sees through it. She sees the scales. She understands they're out of balance. She's going to say, if and only if we get these in equity, in balance. And if you do that, then good things come through. Don't be afraid to say no, and don't be afraid to walk away from something if it's right and if it kind of puts the balance of power where it needs to be. Let's go ahead now and look at the three major categories that I like to focus on here. Those who have a job, job seekers, and then students and retirees. Let's start off with those who are currently employed. I'll talk about entrepreneurs on the tail end of this, but first things first, let's look at those that have a traditional 9-to-5. Here's what's going on here. First of all, you've been working hard. The Sun card comes through because you are pulling in good opportunities, you're shining. Now, the interesting thing is some people may be threatened by sort of where you're at. So the Death card and the Devil card is someone who's having a hard time letting you grow or letting you go. And advancement and growth and being in that spotlight, that's what it's all about. Like, that's why we move forward in our career path. So if there is a peer, a friend, a coworker, a boss that is trying to put a damper on that, that's a clear indication that it's time to move in a new direction. Now, you've been not only working hard now, but like consistently for a while. These are 2-star energies here. So I like that. Keep doing that sort of hard work. What we see eventually, because the Temperance card is also angelic, and it's trying to guide you or have you tune into your inner guidance. And remember I said the compass. For some of you, it's just saying, don't be afraid to try a new path. If you get thrown in the spotlight, this could also be the inner saboteur for some of you thinking, I don't know if I can do it. You can do it. You've been working hard. If someone around you won't let you do it, it's time to explore a new path. Some of you are just a little bit bored or disinterested. The Four of Cups can be sort of like busy and bored, and some of you are just wishing or wanting to try something new. It just takes a little bit of courage and also a little bit of planning to figure out how, when, and where to make the leap of faith, the leap of change, and I get it. It's not something that you're going to do casually for those that are ready. For many of you, you're just overextended. This is someone who needs more assistance here. Like I said, it can be a communication of a lack, and you're being pulled in too many directions. So balance, 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 and balance. It's time to find the necessary work-life balance. If you're deficient in resources or support, you're going to raise your hand and say, I can do this. I need help with this. It's putting a line in the sand. And for those of you that are getting passed over for advancement because it's due, you're really going to find a way to articulate that. Or again, if it keeps falling on deaf ears, because literally this would be someone who isn't looking, listening, or acting on what we see here as good, positive behavior, then you know what you're up against. The devil, you know, is still the devil, and we literally have it coming through as the devil. So for many of you, it's acknowledging that this is not the worst situation, but it may not be the best, the Six of Pentacles. You can get, like, you can stay there for a while, but there may be a need to eventually leap into something different. So if you're going to stay in the same company, this can be a decision to transfer. Now, for some of you, it could simply be that you've accomplished all that you set out to do in a certain trajectory, and in order to grow or expand beyond that, it might be necessary to try a different title, a different job, move to a different geographical location. Something needs to switch for the growth to happen. So there's no sort of like immediate cause for concern. I just see some constricting or limiting energy. Now, for entrepreneurial people, because I promised to mention that in this sort of spread here, you're doing well. I think you may be missing on sort of an opportunity for additional marketing. So change up the way that you're talking to people. It doesn't have to be so perfect. It could just be a little bit more impersonal, a little bit more real. This is especially true for casual sort of like applications like TikTok or Instagram, where it's more about you and the other person and creating an authentic conversation. So less polished and more frequency is what I'm seeing for entrepreneurs. Also, there may be something that needs to be like end of life when it comes to a product or service. Sunsetting is what I think it's called in corporate speak. But you're saying, you know what, it's time to end this and we need to launch something else because our resources can only support so many things. And if you are like a limited staff, the same sort of thing, you're like, it's better to do less and do it better for a small company. So taking your product line and streamlining it, taking your focus and putting more of the energy where you're seeing a return. All right, let's look at those that are job seeking. Job seekers, there's frustration. That's what I'm picking up on loud and clear. Death can show a lack of progress. Eight of Swords, a lack of communication from places that you've applied to. The Devil, someone not meeting you. I mentioned worth. They're not giving you what you're worth. There is hope here, though, when we're looking at all of that. Really, the main thing here for you to focus on, for many of you, is, again, Sun card and Star card. Some of you are going to go down that path of entrepreneur. Some of you are just going to seek a newer organization or job. This is something that's just been birthed, like a startup or someone else that's starting their own business, or it's a freshly created position, so something that hasn't been done before, because they're looking for someone with a new level of expertise. Within the last year or two, an example of that kind of job would be artificial intelligence. Like 20 years ago, it would have been the internet, but now that's grown. Social media is even kind of getting long in the tooth, but we're looking at like AI and technology, new sort of emerging things like that. This could be where you want to put your focus in new areas, or again, a company that just came into the marketplace and is looking for fresh ideas. So we're not looking at old structures. That would be the Hierophant. We're looking at something that has just been birthed, something that's new, something that might be in the press or in the spotlight, okay? Don't get discouraged by this. It could take a little bit longer. Like whenever you watch this reading, it could be a week, 6 or 7 days, 6 of Pentacles. It could be a month and 2 weeks, like 6 weeks. It's not going to take forever, but it is just about being patient and trusting that any dead ends, any no's, any people that are ignoring you, it's so that you can find someone who sees your worth. We want justice to be upright and someone to treat you fairly and for you to get compensated fairly and to be able to shine, right? So don't dismay if there is that sort of block. Look instead at newer things. New and emerging is where the energy should be, okay? The old doors, the old paths, the old jobs may not be where the energy should be focused right now. So there you go. For those of you that are students, some of you have just graduated, that's the Death card, and you're trying to figure out how to navigate. And I get it. I remember how frustrating it can be to try to find your way. I think the key thing here for some of you, and I wish I knew I could do this, you can do that path of entrepreneurial energy if you want to. The other thing is you may want to repackage your skill set. And I was talking about something new and different. Like my skill set is journalism and like film. It's kind of perfectly matched for this. And I was always a technology geek, so I just put it all together. So you can find something where you can apply your skills even if it wasn't the exact degree that you were seeking. So be creative in everybody, cast a wider net. you are qualified for more jobs than you might be considering. Now, that's for students that have graduated. If you're just starting out, this is also a disruptor card, as is Justice on top of the Devil. This is saying no more of this. So you may want to go into, you might be seeking out a degree that gives you what you need to break up old systems. Maybe for some of you, understanding a little bit about law, a little bit about business, and then understanding how to go into those old industries and completely turn them upside down or inside out. Social justice, for sure with that as well. And for some of you, this can also simply be saying no to a traditional outline path. What has been set up for you since you were a kid, you might be thinking, you know what? I need to, maybe you're going to learn from somebody and go, like, it could be an internship, it could be a more of like a, what's the word for it when you just kind of, like a vocational training. You're going to say, you know what, I need to just do this first and decide if I want to take 2 or 3 or 4 years of college. So you're going to go your own way. This is really what this is about, is creating a path that hasn't been done before. That singular sort of expression of you is where the success comes. Looking at retirees, for some of you, you may have just lost somebody really pivotal in your life. There could have also been a health scare or just a little bit of a wake-up call in your own mortality. And it creates this rebirth. You're going to reach for the stars because when you're young, you think you have forever. When you reach midlife and the sort of latter years, you realize actually we don't have forever, but it's true at every stage that you should be maximizing and living like it's your last day. So really focusing on saying no to anybody that puts arbitrary limits on you, anybody that isn't ready or willing to give you what you deserve, who just isn't ready for you, you're going to move in a different direction. I think right now, engaging with younger people could be really good, youth-oriented sort of things. So this could be giving back in a mentorship way. This could be volunteer work. This could also just be, getting involved in social change or social justice, like I was saying with some of the students. Great energy around that. Not seeing so much with travel right now. The sun could be planning a trip, but I think right now it is about personal development, self-care, healing and recovery, especially for those of you that might have had, like I said, a wake-up call here. Generally speaking, you're just saying no to some things. You don't have to help everybody, because there might be a lot of outstretched hands asking for a handout, like money or support or time or energy. You get to put it where you feel like you're going to get the biggest return, and focus on you. Take care of yourself. Go get a massage, have a spa day, do whatever you need to do to feel pampered and supported and loved, okay? And now we're going to move on, speaking of love, to love, and look at general relationship advice. So we have the River card coming through here. It is sideways, but rivers often twist and turn. So there could be someone coming in at an unexpected time from an unexpected sort of direction. I've been seeing this a few times for a few signs this month. We also have the knight energy coming through because we have this horse or a chariot. So with a knight, this is typically someone who is bold, who might be the one that makes the first move. For chariot, they know what they want, they're in control. So I see bold energy entering in across the board when we're looking at relationships. Let's fine-tune it a little bit and look at those in a relationship, looking for love, or happily single. If you're in a relationship, there are some pressure tests going on. So major change in one or both of your lives with death reversed. It can be more symbolic. The end of a job, the move to a new place, this sort of realization that you need to try on something new, because this is death and this is birth. So reinvention, rebirth, and giving yourself time to adjust. There could be something out of your control going on in your family, in the world, and because this is in hope, spheres, and opportunity, so it can be even bigger than a relationship. The two of you have to find a way to sort of like move beyond this or bridge that gap. I think the main thing here is being honest. The opposite of the Eight of Swords is transparency and communication. King of Pentacles, asking for what you need when it's reversed, but also making sure that there's reciprocity. Giving, that's all the balance cards. As long as reciprocity is there, you guys are okay. there is, I think this could actually, it's an interesting read on it, but I think there's a change in the power dynamics. We don't have to read this just as like saying no, walking away, separation. This can simply be saying, I've been doing a lot. How about you? Or maybe you're in a place where your partner wants to support you for a little bit because it's their turn. So it's just, I think this could actually be a leveling or balancing act that is going well. So one person now is stepping into a more responsible role. One person can relax a little bit. And in relationships, it's never truly 50-50 all the time. There's going to be points where there's a little bit more here, a little bit more here. It evens out over time. And so that's what we're seeing here, is the understanding that sometimes it's okay to just let the other person do a little bit more. So don't resist that if your partner wants to help. That's kind of what I'm picking up on. Now, the third and most important thing here is some of you have just, and this is a very small subsection here, but for some of you, there hasn't been a lot of sort of like, you're not meeting in the middle. So the Death card can show a lack of communication or reciprocity. The Devil is a secret that has now kind of seen the light of day, or someone that isn't ready to see you and support you. And for those of you that are in that path, absolutely, it's okay to move on. Justice reverse can be separation, but it's a very small piece of the group here, but I do want to validate that for those of you that are feeling it. Okay, moving on to those that are looking for love. Karmic in nature, the star and the sun, two stars, two bright energies. Death, past life. Death and sun coming into this lifetime. There may be someone that has a child. The sun can be a child that they're bringing forth. By the way, in existing relationships, there could be a birth too. What else is going on here? Do you have the time? This is the interesting thing. I feel like for some of you, you just might have way too many things on your table or your plate. And it's like, how do I balance in a relationship? Now, there are some cautionary notes if you meet someone new. On the bright side, the Devil can just be a Capricorn. And the Eight of Swords can be the fact that you can't plan this meeting. It's going to happen when you least are looking for it. And this is just about making sure that you scan the room and pick up on cues and hints. There might be someone that's trying to flirt with you. However, we have Eight of Swords, Devil, and Justice here. And what I'm seeing here for some of you is don't overlook the red flags. So if someone is kind of hedging on availability or interest, or you might find out later that they're still not divorced from someone, because this could be a Capricorn that hasn't gotten out of a divorce, and it can also be just someone that's lying about a relationship status. You want to sort of like just thank the lucky stars, literally, because we got two of the lucky stars here, that if you see it and you see it early, you kind of like, that's the close call. You dodged a bullet there, basically. I think that right now the strongest energy coming through is your own. We see this really strong grounded energy. So expect and wait for this like energy of the two stars here. I got Knight energy, I got Chariot energy associated with that. And the sign isn't necessarily coming through, although Scorpio is what I'm picking up on intuitively. So there could be a water sign coming through, because we did get a lot of water cards too. Just give it time and you'll know it. When you see someone that is ready and honest and transparent, it's just going to feel right. And if you're not feeling right, or if you see any red flags, listen to them, okay? If you're single and happy, it's a perfect time to be single and happy. I think the main focus right now is on health and well-being with Death, King of Pentacles, and Devil. It's about letting go of things that don't serve you, focusing on personal development, creating more wealth and abundance in your life, and finding just better balance across the board, okay? Now let's move on to the Destiny message. If we take a look at the card here, it says, I believe it's Shambhala, Initiations, Retreating to Recharge, Trusting in the Process, and Dharma. This is a chance for you, when we're looking at that retreating to recharge. When was the last time you took a vacation? When was the last time you simply gave yourself a little bit of extra time to rest, to recalibrate? And this is true of all major life decisions. So if you just broke up with someone and you're getting pressured to get back out there, you don't have to until you're ready. If you just quit a job, give yourself a week or two before going to the next job if you're lucky enough to have like an offer on the table. And if you're just in that period of rest between two big situations, you're exactly where you need to be. That's going to allow you to recharge, and that's going to give you the clarity to recognize opportunity when it comes knocking. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the deeper sort of dive into sun, rising, and moon sign messages. Sun, rising, and moon. For sun sign, we have the King of Cups. This is leadership, creativity, intuition, passion, and compassion as well. This really sets you up for success across the board, and it's connecting to a lot of those power cards that we saw in the center of the sun and also the star. It is a great time for forging new relationships, and I like that we have a little bit of an explorer vibe here on this. So we see a captain of a ship. We also saw that energy around movement and traveling, and so for some of you, your travels could connect you with a new passion, with a new person, with something that really connects you to your skills and possibilities. So I like everything about that, honestly. A great energy to come forth for sun. Again, new relationships, new opportunities, passion, intuition. Tune into it, folks. Listen to what your heart says. It's going to lead you in the right direction. As we take a look here at rising, we have the Page of Pentacles. And if we look closely, he's holding a key here. I mentioned that I saw that night energy coming through. Let's see, this was health, wealth, love. So for some of you, when it comes to love and partnership, I saw the night. And what we see here is it's going to be a very short sort of distance between the inception or the communication of something and that next phase when someone says, yeah, I'm interested. So this partnership could actually be on a career level where someone does respond to your message, or it could be love. You swipe on an app or you reach out to someone and they're like, yeah, I'm interested. So speak something into existence here. Take the key, open the door and say, I'm worth it, I'm ready, I'm willing, all of that. And the other person is going to recognize that star quality. This is a really good month for those of you that are Virgo rising. Again, possibly to have a breakthrough either creatively or professionally, but it all begins with holding out and knowing what your worth is and not accepting less than that, okay? And Paige also listens to what's going on. There could be a really great piece of information that's going to help you figure out what your next choice or your next sort of path is going to be. All right, for Virgo moon here, we have the King of Wands coming through. And if we zoom into this card, look at what he's doing. He's really focusing on making sure that he's fanning the flames of whatever project or plan or passion is in front of him. And this is the entrepreneurial energy that I was picking up on earlier. It's you. You're the one that is going to create, initiate, move things forward. And it really does weigh, or I should say, it really does kind of focus in on your belief and your vision. If you have that, if you believe, if you can see it, if you're excited about it, other people pick up on it. If you don't, there's no spark, there's no connection. So really make sure that whatever it is that you decide to invest your time and attention in, that you really feel that connection, okay? You can also rekindle other people's sort of passion or inspiration. So if you have to step into a leadership position, people aren't feeling it, you can actually galvanize them and get them moving in the right direction. But you have to figure out what it is that they need, what they want, help them kind of see the common interest and the common good here, okay? Let's go ahead now and take a look at the final question. This can be anything that you need some additional clarification on. Just go ahead and put that question out into the universe. I'm going to take a deep breath. We're going to call in your guides again one more time, and let's see what the answer is to your question. Strength reversed. Don't push it. Don't force it. What we see is a very peaceful strength card here. We don't see her opening up the mouth of this lion. The reversal of this is saying, let something come to you, let someone come to you. And I think this is after your initial communication of your desire, of your wish, etc. Someone either feels it and respects it or they don't. This card is also reminding you to take better care of your general health and well-being. So this includes exercising and diet and meditation. It's a holistic sort of thing. If you had a more simple yes-no question, this is invariably a yes, but ... at what cost? You can get what you're looking for, but it may not be the best match for you. It may take more time and energy in the long run. And if you have to push or force something to happen. There could always be that sort of tug of war friction or sort of extra effort required on your part. So choose wisely. You should be able to state what it is that you need or what your worth is or whatever you're interested in, and there should be someone meeting you with a greater or equal energy. That's what you've set up. That's what you deserve. We want the sun and the star to come through. Be patient. Don't force something. Let someone speak. Let them finish. Let them come to you when it comes to something really important. Okay? That brings us to the close of this reading. Do me a favor, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and leave a comment below. Let me know what sort of energy around change you might be embracing, where there might be some blocks, how you're working through those, what's resonated overall in this reading. I love to see how it's kind of like connecting you and helping you to paths and opportunities in front of you. Feel free to give me a follow on social media. It's always my full name with no extra letters or spellings or things of that nature, just Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. Remember, I don't offer private readings. I'm not going to send you a message and ask for something. So if you see any of that, just block and report. If you'd like to show some love and support, you can do it through super stickers, super chats, super likes, and also through memberships. And all of this, by the way, helps me in rebuilding my card library, which I had to part with when I moved from my apartment. So thank you in advance for that. Thank you for your love, for your support, for spending time with me today. You're the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Wishing you all the best. I'll see you soon.